And we're live with talking about Jujutsu Kaisen again. Book club time.
Jujutsu Kaisen, lost in paradise, not in there.
If I had any pride in myself as an editor, I would edit in a couple seconds of that song as our little opener. Um,
But you don't.
and also, maybe the video would get fucked by copyright. So, you know what? Maybe it's for the best.
Don't you know in Texas we can't get copyright stricken anymore?
Is that right?
Of course, why not?
Oh, yeah, that was a thing that came up recently. Oh, my God. Texas is such a shit show right now. I don't want to.
Oh,
Let,
10 out of 10.
let's not talk about Texas right now. Okay, so we're starting at chapter 83. The Shibuya Incident starts. However, should we briefly talk about the chapter 0 stuff that we forgot to talk about last time? It's the 4 chapters that came out at some point. It was like a prelude story with like a classmate. Is that classmate? Did he leave the school? Is he currently away from school? Like, what happened to the guy with the creepy girlfriend ghost?
Man, ain't that a good question.
Okay, we'll leave that right there then. Yeah, I thought that was a cute little story. It was after Gojo had already mastered his stuff, and a big question I had when I finished it was, how the hell has Gojo not killed Geto at this point? Because that story ends with them cornered, and it's like if Gojo doesn't kill him right now, this is such a lot of deaths are going to be on his hand. And as we find out in this section that we're going to be covering, I guess he did kill him back then. So good for that.
A little bit of killing.
So let's see. Right, so the Shibuya incident starts, and something I really like about when it's starting is how, like, dire it feels, because I've heard stories about the Shibuya incident arc that it kind of got me wanting to read the manga. This was before we started, and just the way it's set up, it's like, this seems like a big deal, like we're building up to an actual, like, the first really big conflict with the main villain. So I really like how it starts, and it's bringing back a bunch of the old enemies that I forgot are alive, like the Volcano Man, the Plant Lady. So I think it's the Plant Lady is called Hanami, and I think the Volcano Man's Jugo. And then another one of the old antagonists is like the sibling of the two that Nobara and Itadori killed.
It's their oldest brother, yeah.
Yes. So let's see. Right off the bat, it just starts with a massacre. Like, we're going to release a bunch of monsters into the city. And then they start talking a little bit about domain amplification. And then, like, it's kind of like simple domain where it protects you from a domain. And I don't fully understand the difference between the two. That's just the power system. And basically, the idea here is we're going to isolate Gojo and force him to make some tough decisions and eventually capture him. So they have this entire setup with like the multiple curtains. They have
They think all the people, like the civilians, will cause chaos and make it difficult.
yeah, and to some degree they're right.
There is a shit ton of people down there. There's like thousands of people, or like hundreds, nearly 1,000 people down there.
And because it was Halloween in Shibuya, that's really worth noting because I know that's why I want to go to Japan during Halloween because it's like a big party over there. It's a big deal.
Oh, that would be dope.
Imagine, wouldn't it be cool? And Gojo alternates between like dodging attacks and like amplifying his body to like just strike back and block attacks. Like the way he fights in this beginning little section, as soon as he starts fighting like Hanami and I already forgot the name, Jugo.
Cool.
Yeah, I like how he handles fighting them. It feels restrained, but he feels in control the whole time. And at this point, I start worrying, like, I'm worried Gojo does not care about these civilians, because they're just dying all around him. The monsters are eating them, the enemies are killing them. And I don't know, that made me feel pretty uneasy. But I think he later explains it's like, and I liked his rationale where it's like, look, I can only say anyone that's gonna be saved today is only gonna be saved if I keep it cool. So like I'm minimizing my losses here. So he's not completely a bad guy, and I think that's good. Like he has some regard for human life. Then you move on to chapter 86, 87, which is just Itadori versus an insect boy. And I think there was a gag, if I'm remembering right, with this fight, where like I forgot what type of insect that Itadori's fighting, but he's like, "You know what my type of insect does?" And like, is surprised that Itadori knows how to expect certain things from that enemy. But there wasn't really much to that fight.
No, it's just kind of a, oh, here he is. Oh, look how strong Yuji has found himself now. Because the whole deal in that is that, like, the fact that, like, it's a talking spirit.
Yes, which means it's a certain grade above.
Yeah, and, like, at the very beginning, Yuji was struggling against that type of spirit type. But now he's just bashing it in, like, super easy.
It was like a one-chapter fight. He definitely kicked their ass. In 88, we learn a little bit more about what they're doing. So, like, they have these curtains so certain people can't get in, but they're going to use the subway system to, like, send a bunch of transfigureds in through the subway. And I really like the pages where they show up and they all bust out of the train and just start going ham on the poor people. Like, is anyone going to survive this night? I'm getting really worried because, like, every time you cut to, like, just the random people, like, it's a bunch of bodies on the ground, people running from monsters. It looks horrifying.
Dude, I don't think anybody, like, will survive. And I think that's the main deal that they're doing. Like, they want to kill everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Geto's putting his money where his mouth is. Like, only Jujutsu sorcerers will survive this incident. I think that's... I mean, that's making him a pretty scary villain. Let's see. Okay, so this is like maybe the coolest part of the sections we read, which we're already talking about chapter 89 stuff, so we're busting along. I think we could cover all this in 30 minutes.
Very quick reads.
Yeah. You know, I mean, we could talk about that. Jujutsu is like a very nice, easy to read thing. The only part where it like slows down a bit is when you're reading about people's abilities and you're trying to make sense of them, and good luck doing that, I guess. But
good luck.
I really like this predicament they put Gojo in, where the curtain can only let Jujutsu sorcerers in and out, or only in maybe. So the humans, if they were to be pushed towards that curtain, would be completely killed. And it's like, okay, Gojo, you can use your domain expansion and destroy the brains of every human that's here. Because I forgot his domain expansion is like he just floods you with infinity, and you just go numb. And
you see everything.
You see everything, whatever that means. It's just his power is so wacky. What makes this cool is like, I think when you make a domain expansion, you can choose to not bring people in, and they'll be pushed out. But if he pushes the humans out, they collide on the curtain door and then get splatted. So what he does, and I think this is brilliant, he's like, okay, I'm going to use my domain expansion for 0.2 seconds. And in those 0.2 seconds, the humans take like 6 months worth of information, and they're like, okay, therapy is going to get them through this. It's a necessary evil. But then he kills, like, in 299... like, of his own seconds, he wipes out all of the transfigured. And this is, like, maybe the coolest thing Gojo has done so far in the story for me.
In 0.2 seconds.
It was very bad.
That's something that I hope they go real Hunter x Hunter with, where, like, they do the, like, beginning of the inflation, and it shows everything are happening around in 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, and, like, sidebar, people give Hunter x Hunter shit, and maybe, they're like, oh, nothing's happened, it's still been the 15 seconds. I'll say, yeah, but that is, like, one of the most tense parts of the arc, even if the pacing's a little slow. Like, it's pretty good. And you can tell that Gigi, or however you pronounce this author's name, is a huge Hunter x Hunter fan, so... And double sidebar, Hunter x Hunter will return for 4 chapters and then fuck off like always, so...
Supposedly.
It's gonna happen. And then you will be crushed when it's gone, and I'm not even excited to read it because I'm so lost in that
I'm
arc.
not excited either.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get to the very most important part of the Shibuya part.
Which is him getting captured, right?
Yeah.
Which, I love this concept of, like, you need to look at this thing for a minute for it to capture you, but your mind moves so fast that it's almost instant for you. Like, it uses his fast-moving brain.
That's not what it is.
Oh, okay. Explain it, please.
So what happens is your brain needs to experience a minute.
Yeah.
As soon as Geto reveals himself to Gojo, Gojo's entire history together with Geto flashes before his eyes. So he experiences a minute instantly. He experiences like 5 years instantly.
Yeah, okay. I thought it had something to do with like Gojo's infinite big brain. But nope. That's also cool because like the shock of like I killed you, and it loops back to what we were saying at the start, that it's like it'd be kind of bullshit if Gojo didn't kill him, and like clearly he did, and it had a big impact.
Mm-hmm.
On to the 90s. In chapter 91, I start to realize, man, Mechamaru really is dead. He's just a... I don't want to accept it, but he's gone. We'll never see him again. I wasn't super attached to him, but he went out like such a cool fight that I wanted more from him. But he's still helping through his post-mortem Nen ability.
Yeah, character definitely dead AF.
And then I haven't gotten an answer to this. There's there's this guy who always drives Itadori and gang from place to place. He's just kind of like a support unit. He just gets randomly killed. Maybe I hope he's not actually dead. Like one of the curse users just comes up and stabs him from behind. If this is how he dies, I'm gonna be pretty upset because like I want my deaths, but not like this.
That guy's fucking dead.
No, Tyler, shut up. I like that guy. Shut up. You don't know that for sure.
That guy's fucking dead.
Oh my god.
That guy just he gets fucking ganked so fucking hard.
He does get ganked really hard. Oh, I don't enjoy hearing that. On to 92. In pages 12 and 13 of this chapter, there's like this cool sequence where Itadori saves a bunch of people. He's just like jumping from enemy to enemy and just knocking them out and saving a bunch of people. You know, like I bring it up. It's nice when you see your good guy who works for a good organization actually going out of his way to help people and not just like fighting the bad guys. Unlike Gojo, who didn't really have a choice, but it was nice to see like that contrast of how Itadori handles these things and Gojo handles these things. What else happened around this time? It also becomes a thing of like, who's gonna get to Itadori first? Is it gonna be who's the guy that like really scary curse user who can transform his body? I forget his name. Like Masahiro or something.
Hatami.
No, not Hanami. Hanami's the plant lady.
No, Hatami.
Hatami? Really? That's his name? Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
He's trying to get to Itadori first. I forgot who else is racing for Itadori at this point.
Mahito.
Yeah, Mahito. That's who I'm thinking. Anyways, it becomes like a multiple people. And like they're like, hey, I mean, we don't need Sukuna. Like, let's just, like, it'd be cool if Sukuna revived through this boy, but also fuck him, because, like, we're our own curses, and Sukuna could be good for a curse kind, or it could be bad because he might just beat us up because he's a big bully. And I think
a big bully.
I think that's really cool. So, like, okay. I had a note here. It's like, while reading this, I definitely forgot what the deal with Geto is, because it's explained, and I didn't fully understand, and I kept reading. I thought his brain jumped bodies, but the girls are really angry with him, and that's because the person inhabiting the body is not actually Geto. It's something that I don't fully know yet, but I think it has Geto's memories. Is that how it's supposed to work? Because he has that conversation where it's like, hey, you said the soul shapes the body, but the fact that I have my memory means the body shapes the soul. You remember that?
Yeah.
Which, also, like, that's contradictory, so, like, what is the truth? I think the way they explain it is, like, I guess our cursed abilities are just different, and I guess there is no universal answer to that. I don't know. But I do have that right? Like, it's something with Geto's memories.
Whoever possessed him does have his memories, and that's just about it.
I wonder, like, I don't know how to feel about that because it's like, I really like this history that Geto had with Gojo, you know, and like we had a whole flashback for it, and I thought that was really important. But as it turns out, the person we're fighting is not even the character we fleshed out in that flashback. Like, doesn't that seem like the flashback loses some of its oomph?
Maybe.
We have.
I mean, it loses double oomph because we have Jogo gets trapped in this, and we find out Geto at the same time is not even Geto.
Yeah, like the back and forth of their like rivalry and their relationship feels like it's not real anymore because it's like I have the memories of when we were friends, but the person you were friends with is not me. So like, I don't know. I'm interested to see how that turns out, but I will point that as like maybe the one negative storytelling because I really like how the story's been progressing, but I feel like that takes away some of the impact of the flashback if I'm understanding that right. So if y'all have some insight on maybe something that would make me feel different, please comment below. But don't spoil, as you know.
No spoilies.
There's a I wrote this as like also a bit of a weird thing where it's like it's kind of convenient that the person who casts the curtain has a stronger curtain if they're outside of it. Like that feels like a plot contrivance where it's like, oh, the power system works that way so you can get the person who casted the curtain because otherwise you wouldn't be able to ever get to them. It's like, why wouldn't they? I don't know. I'm just nitpicking here, but it is a nitpick.
There is something to do with the person who cast the curtain.
Yeah, I mean, for all I know is that it's stronger from the outside, and they're currently fighting the curtain casters. Where we're gonna stop today, which will be in a little bit because I have 4 chapters left to talk about.
They try to talk. They try to explain it.
They do explain it. I'm just saying, like, it's convenient because, like, say you could easily have written the story where it's the opposite. It's like if you're inside the curtain, you can't get out, but it's stronger, and now no one can get to you. You know, like, it just is what it is. We have some fights in 95. There's nothing crazy, but I'm liking like the second year who looks up to Minami as a character, who gets his shit beat in, and I hope is also not dead. He's like, he describes himself as not so smart, but he knows Minami is smart, so he's like, I'll follow his way of life, I'll follow his lead. And that guy's pretty endearing, where he's like explaining things, and the first years are like, yeah, we know, or we don't care. He's like, no, he feels like he's trying to be a good senpai, but he's not quite doing it because our main characters are so strong. But
are you like, talking? Sorry, I lost track. You're talking about Hanami, but aren't we? Isn't 95 the chapter where Yuji and Megumi are fighting the weird dudes, the weird foreigners?
Well, so I'm talking about the second year with the beanie. Also, is having.
Oh yeah. The other one who's being tested. Yeah.
Yes, and he looks up to Minami. Is what I'm saying. And I like how he puts his beanie over his head and like goes crazy mode, but ooh, okay, 96 had a really cool sequence with the old man that Itadori's fighting. Both of these people used curses and they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna be criminals, we're gonna do what we want. But then like the way that they build up, like Gojo was born and all of a sudden everyone had to reanalyze what they are in this world. Because the like apex predator showed up, we all gotta get in line because like we can't just do random shit anymore. Gojo could come for us one day. Like they write Gojo like the ultimate like bogeyman. It's awesome.
He is the bogeyman.
And I'll say it after, but on to we got 97, 98, 99. In 97 there's a sequence where Itadori's chucking cars. Can we talk about how this guy is weirdly, like, superhuman strong? What is with this world? Because the same thing's the truth with Megumi's dad.
Dude, you didn't like him jumping out of windows at the very beginning of this is Yuji's true. Power was established at the very beginning, even before he had Sakura's strength.
You're 100% right. I remember watching that first episode, and I thought it was just anime being fancy, but I guess he just is, like, the GOAT athlete. And I mean, he shot puts a ball further than everyone ever. He runs laps faster than everyone ever. I'm just like, Why? Is there something to his like bloodline that we don't know about? Because it feels weird that like this story takes itself pretty seriously, but then you have a main character who's just the peak human as far as physicality goes. Like he's beyond human, really. I can't be trucking cars out here, no matter how long I train. And don't you agree? It's like the most Hunter x Hunter power ever, where it's like weak attacks are stronger against me, and strong attacks are weaker against me.
That is Hunter x Hunter shit, and it's great.
I
really like this guy's dumb ability.
It's like honestly, it's like you read Hunter x Hunter and JoJo's, and you're like, ooh, I wonder what cool stands and Nen abilities I could make. And he just made he's good enough to make a manga around those dumb ideas that I think we all have when we're reading like those kinds of stories. So props to him.
Very nicely done.
Nobara has her fight in 99, but it's kind of interrupted by Angry Minami, which is, to me, the hype of shit, because Minami is currently my favorite character. And he's angry that Nita died. According to you, he's really dead. I don't want to believe it, but...
there is a lot of death in this arc.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. And unfortunately, that is where I stopped. So, I guess we can have a little summary over the half of the Shibuya Incident that I've read so far. You can start. What did you think of like this section overall? Anything you want to bring up? Because I've been kind of just going over my notes. I know you got the summary there.
It was a lot of action, and sometimes I got confused because I'm like, okay, Yuji's inside the building, now he's outside the building. What's going on? Where, like, how is he going in and out? Like, he was deep underground, and now he's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of jumping back and forth, which I guess I'm used to with One Piece shenanigans. Yeah, there's a lot of characters, too. Like, there's a lot of good guys in this arc, and I guess it's so that there's a fodder. Now that I'm thinking about it, if there is that much death, maybe like the sister and brother, one of them will die. That's a prediction, maybe.
Sister and brother.
There's like a sister and her little brother who's always like, "You should worship my sister," and the sister's super rude.
Yeah. These fuckos.
They kind of just showed up out of nowhere, as far as I'm concerned. They're like, "Hey, we're in the mission too."
They're the ones who are judging Yuji. They're Yuji's judges.
Right. Yeah, but I think this is the first time we've met them, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, 10 out of 10, yeah. This is the first time we met
10
them.
10 out of 10. I really like this section, though. Like you said, it's pretty action-packed, but also, like, it had a lot of horror to it, too. Like, it had a lot of dread. And if I had to give this arc, I think its strongest point right now is, like, the tone. It feels really serious, and it feels like... Without being, like, overwhelming, you still get, like, some funny scenes when you cut back to Itadori and the siblings and stuff, but the tension is built up nice. And, like, the thing is, like, Gojo is not dead, so he can still be rescued. And that takes the tension down a little bit, because it's like, okay, we have a way out of this. We just need to rescue Gojo. We're also taking down the curtains, so he can fully domain expand if it comes down to it. Now, Tyler, I think you finished this arc, right?
I have finished this arc, yes.
And I have, like, 20 chapters left to go.
Something like that, I think.
Something like that. I mean, everything I said could be totally wrong, and you're just snickering at me in your brain. Like my hopes that people live. That's so stupid of me.
It is. This ain't Oda's anime.
It's. I mean, this is more deaths than... I mean, the only other shonen to compare to this with, like, a body count already is Hunter x Hunter. We're like, Hunter x Hunter's pretty good. No, like, not a lot of people die, and then the Chimera Ant arc starts, and like, hey, that girl with the hat that you thought was cute, she's dead.
The bee girl.
Multiple towns are getting fed upon by entire countries are getting eaten by ants. Like, it's dark.
Yeah, it kind of be like that.
Yeah, this is like, we're already starting off on a Chimera Ant level seriousness, and it's only the first 100 chapters. So, bright future ahead, of course. I don't know if you know this, but this is currently the best-selling manga in the world by a lot. It's
really, I did not know that.
You know how Demon Slayer had a huge sales push when the anime came out? I don't know if you heard about that, but like it became huge. This is getting that Demon Slayer push now because the anime was so good and the Shibuya Incident apparently was so good. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even thought like I was on that train. I was like, you know what? I should get some Jujutsu.
Mm-hmm. It's and well deserved. I definitely think this is one of the best manga out right now. The author is a good writer. He writes good dialogue. He writes good sequences and actions. So he it's the whole package right now as far as like I feel like it's the evolution of like Bleach meets Hunter x Hunter, and I'm loving it so far. Um, Aside from that, other prediction time. This whole story, it's weird that like the strong like Saitama's in the story, but he actually does shit, right? Because we have Gojo, and a story can't take itself seriously and keep Saitama as like an active member the whole time. So, a couple things could happen. One, he stays trapped, and like it's just that way for the remainder of the series until he's brought back for the final arc. Two, he could die, and then the entire Jujutsu world has lost its greatest weapon. Um, and that could be interesting. And then three, which is what I was most scared of when we got to the flashback arc, was the moment where Gojo lost the target that they were like trying to protect, and he kind of loses it. He's like, "Hey, should I just kill everyone here?" And I got those vibes when he almost killed everyone in the subway. Now he didn't do it, so maybe I'm off base, but like is there a way that the end goal here, the end game, could be villain Gojo? What do you think?
Think so personally.
You think it could happen?
No, I
No.
don't.
No.
I think the end is gonna be very much like probably more like Soul Eater, where you have the super strong person at the very end, but then like girl with Reaper Scythe and power of friendship is actually stronger.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter because he's on our side. That's the thing, right? The fact that he's on our side and is super competent and is willing to help is what makes this such a weird case. I can't think of a story like that. It's like if Naruto had the fox on his side the entire time, and like Gojo's even beyond the fox, to be honest. Like he's so above everyone else as long as he's got the freedom to fight the way he wants. So I don't know. I could definitely see villain Gojo because then Sukuna can fight Gojo, and Sukuna is like if we have like a tier list here, it seems like Gojo is the strongest and Sukuna is the second out of the characters we've met. I could be wrong, but that's the vibe I get from the storytelling.
Going it's got such Chainsaw Man vibes a little bit.
A little bit. You didn't read Chainsaw Man?
I read all of Chainsaw Man.
Shit, it's so easy to forget because you never talked about it.
I read it in like a day and a half.
Yeah, it's fast. I mean, there's no dialogue in Chainsaw Man. It's you never talked about it on the podcast, therefore, unless you did. But if you did,
is it even real?
it didn't exist. There's no record of it online. But I guess the record is here now. Well, that's all I have for this section, and this was nice and brief. I like the pace that we do these. My note taking pretty much hits everything I want to talk about, and no big discussions of like too much character development stuff. I like we talked about Gojo's conflict and that being the best part for me. What was the best part of this section for you?
Best part of this section, I like all the bad guys that are introduced personally.
The old man, the old lady. I didn't talk about, but apparently the old lady revived Megumi's dad. So that is the thing I'm looking forward to the most. Like, how's that going to play out?
Yeah, you didn't even talk about that. That guy's back.
Because I didn't realize till you told me that it was him. Because I don't know if they name dropped him. So I was just like, oh, this ghost seems strong.
It's like heavily hinted that it's that guy.
Okay, gotcha. So it's not... Okay, I see. Well, that should be cool, if true. But yeah, your favorite was the villains introduced, and they do seem pretty cool.
Yeah. I like the weird, like, family of people that I'm like, what the fuck are y'all? Where did y'all come from?
Yeah, they're interesting. We also lost one of the villains. Hanami got splatted on the wall. I forgot to mention that, but Gojo was so savage in that chapter.
Yeah, he just lets completely go. I forgot to mention, there is something that happens with Megami and it's you haven't like you haven't read the good parts yet. Nothing you've read has been good yet.
That's insane.
I mean,
because I thought this had
it's
been a really good
good.
art. Yeah, like you mean
It's
the
good,
best?
yes.
The best is to come in the next 20 chapters. So next time should be a banger of a discussion.
Yeah. It's crazy how intense it gets.
I might read tonight. I should take it slow because I wanna have it a little fresh in my brain next time we talk about it. So I'll try to finish it sometime next week or the week after, so we can talk about it some more.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Well, that's all we got, folks. Hopefully,
Thanks for tapping in.
Thank you. Bye bye.